Greetings, my creative companions. Heidi here. Let's dive into today's tutorial on Tabby 1 SVG. Please refer to the description for details on where to purchase the SVG and supplies used in this video. Okay, so first unzip the Tabby 1 folder before uploading the design to Glowforge. With your Glowforge connected and turned on, navigate to the Glowforge app. On the dashboard, click the Create a New Design dropdown and select Upload a File. Open the unzipped Tabby 1 download folder, then the SVG subfolder. For this tutorial, we'll select Tabby 1 Hanger, but feel free to choose the file that suits your needs. The design will upload as a grouped object. Select it and click the ungroup icon on the right side. We'll only use the outlines and backboard today, so remove the individual cutout pieces. You can identify this section when you hover over it. All pieces will appear separated. Delete this portion. I'll show you how to use this part in a different video. I'll set my material to 1/8 draft board with default settings. I did try reducing the strength previously, but it didn't cut all the way through, so I'm just going to go with the defaults on this one. If you haven't already, load your cutting material onto the Glowforge bed. It's crucial that your material lies completely flat. I cannot emphasize this enough. Any warping or bowing can cause precision issues with the cut lines because these are such small lines that we are dealing with. I'm using a 70-point heavy-duty chipboard, which works well but does require careful preparation to prevent bowing. Position your piece on the material and select Print. Click the print button on your Glowforge and let it do its thing. I'm using a Glowforge Plus, and this cut takes about 6.5 minutes. If you refer to the description, I will have a discount code for Glowforge. I've removed my design from the Glowforge, and as you can see, this side got a little charred. I've done several cuts with this material, and this is the first time I'm seeing this. I'm thinking either there was a slight defect in the material that allowed it to burn a bit, or it was slightly bowed here. So to remove the charred edges, it is recommended to use baby wipes or isopropyl wipes. I've also applied masking before cutting, but there still tends to be a slight bit of charring, so I have switched to clean up after the cut. Once everything is cleaned up, we can start painting. I usually do several coats of a neutral base color. I found the base coat helps, especially when I have lighter colors. The coverage looks more even and goes on faster. I'm just using a foam brush here because I do not need to pay attention to details. I do at least 2 coats of every color. Once the base coat has been applied, I begin to separate the pieces by their final color. Be careful removing the grout lines or the lead lines, as they are quite fragile. This can be set off to the side because we will be applying a different color technique. and placing the background pieces together. Then I'm moving all the pieces that are going to be light pink, which are the inner ears and the nose. Then I move the border pieces, group by their final color. And finally, the eyes. The light cream color I used as the base coat will be the final background color. I have chosen 2 shades of blue for the border colors. I have 2 shades of pink, one for the border and one for the ears and nose. And I have 1 orange color that I will be mixing with the background color to get various shades of the same color. There's a few reasons why I like to use a sticky mat for painting my objects. Some of the cut pieces are rather small, and it's less likely any piece is going to get away from me. Also, the sticky mat helps hold the pieces while I'm brushing with the paint, preventing them from moving around. It's incredibly nice to be able to pick the whole project up and move it or put it away if necessary. Also, it's easy to rotate the mat so the pieces you are currently painting are front and center. So I'm going to switch to a regular flat brush while adding the final color. I do apply another layer to the background color even though they are already painted the final color. I find that the brush strokes just look better this way. Here I'm switching to the light pink where I can do the ears and the nose. So this is how I plan which border colors go where. So I already know the inner ears are going to be the light pink, and I have a dark pink that is used in the border. I'm going to make the center pieces the dark pink just to break up the color a little and not have the 2 pink colors like right next to each other. Now we are moving on to the dark blue. This is the only border section that does have a slight cutout where the ear overlaps, so I just need to make sure that I am painting the correct ones. Next up, we are painting the dark pink. You guys, why didn't you tell me I was painting the wrong pieces? Or maybe you were yelling at your screen. That's the wrong one, Heidi. Anyways, the center pieces are painted the dark pink. And finally, the remaining border pieces are painted light blue. Now the cat is going to have more details, so we will be mixing the orange with the cream color to get different shades. I'm just making a light orange color that I will be applying to the entire cat. So here's our reference photo. Of course, the blue color was clogged when I printed this, so the coloring is definitely off, but you know what? It's good enough. This is my sister's cat, Growler. He definitely has typical orange cat behavior. You can tell him's a little troublemaker. So I'm making this as a housewarming gift for my sister. Sorry, Gretchen, if you're seeing this video before you have received it, you'll just have to act surprised. So you can see that he has the lightest color around his eyes and mouth. So I'm just going to move these pieces so I don't accidentally get the light color on. So I'm just putting a small amount of paint on my brush and I'm doing like a stomping motion to apply the light color around the eyes and mouth. And I'll keep referring back to the picture to make sure that I'm getting the best placement for these colors. I also want to add the lightest color is like the little wispies in the cat's ears. So I'm just making sure I'm adding them to the correct sides. I'm lining up the ears. Finally, we are going to use the concentrated orange paint color to add the tabby markings. I'm still not applying a ton of paint and I'm using the stomping motion. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, but there are some areas on the cat where the lines are definitely more distinct. So I'm just trying to focus on those areas and the rest I'm just kind of putting just some subtle color here and there just to make it a little more interesting. Now, I just purchased these metallic acrylic paints, so first time using them. I liked the variety of colors included, and I thought that pretty much any animal eye color I was trying to achieve could be found in this set. I think for this particular case, I'm going to go with the rose gold. Oh my gosh, you guys, I wish you could see just how beautiful this color really is, because the video is not doing it justice. Okay, so this is going on very thin, and I am definitely going to have to build up the color, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So we're finally done painting, and we are moving on to the optional liquid glass step. Now, I highly recommend this step because it takes a homemade painting to the next level. It really adds a level of professionalism that I have not been able to achieve otherwise. Previously, I would use this really small bottle with like a micro tip on the finer details, such as like around the ears. Toothpicks are also essential to help pop air bubbles and push the product right up to the edge. I've worked with this product for some time now, and I can confidently use a larger squeeze bottle, even for the smaller details. So this is just a generic condiment bottle I got on Amazon. The trick is to try to line all the way up to the edge on each piece and then flood the center. This product has a lovely surface tension. It wants to hold on to the edges without overflowing, so you get a beautiful rounded edge. This is what really sells the mosaic tile look. Before moving on to the next piece, use the toothpick to pop or scoop up any air bubbles and push the product to the edge if necessary. I find the outside border is too big to do all at once. I will line, flood, and use the toothpick on each side before moving to the next side. And the back does not need the liquid glass, so this is the last section. The drying time on liquid glass does vary depending on your environment, so like the humidity and temperature. Usually I will set this aside until the next day. This is another reason why I love the mat, because I need to move this to a level place where my cats won't jump on it while it's drying. I used to always just paint the grout lines with a black acrylic marker, and that totally works. If you want to do it that way, go for it. But I've since found a new method that I absolutely love. I now use embossing powder, and it gives such a gorgeous finish. It really looks like leaded lines. So you use a clear embossing ink pad and generously stamp all over your design lines. We need to apply the embossing powder next, so I'm just using a paper plate to catch the excess. So we just want to make sure that we've got a nice even layer of the powder over all the inked area. I moved the cutout to a low-rimmed box, like a shoebox lid. Using tweezers, I gently grip the cutout while using a heating gun on the embossing powder. You can tell when it has been heated enough because it will have a smooth, rounded appearance. The paper plate makes it super easy to return the extra embossing powder back to its original container. So off camera, I applied a generous layer of spray adhesive to the backing. And now this is the best part, putting it all together. You get to do a puzzle and watch it come together. So you want to start with your outside border. You want to make sure it's all nice and lined up. Then the grout lines go on. And you want to make sure you push them down, make sure everything looks good. Sometimes they can get just a little bit bent in certain areas, so you want to use your tweezers or something like that to just push them so they're completely flat against the border. And finally add the remaining pieces. It's so rewarding. I noticed the liquid glass kind of filled over the little center line that's on the cat's nose. So I'm just cutting that part away so that there's a nice clear line there and that it fits into the piece nicely. And last but not least, the eyes. Ah, it just looks so wonderful when it all comes together. And when you hold it up to the light, you can see just how shiny. Oh. Okay, now that it's been put together, I like to just clean the edges up with a little bit of sandpaper. Now, you do not have to do this step, but I feel like it just makes it a little bit cleaner. So I'll do a very light sanding, and then I will paint after that. I am going to use a wipe to get all of the sandpaper dust off of this before I do paint. And then we're just going to start painting all the way around the edges, and then you make sure you get on the inside of the hanger part as well as all of the outside edges. And you don't have to be super particular while doing this. If you do get any on the front, the liquid glass makes it super easy to just wipe it right up. So, I mean, you don't want to wait until it dries. You want to wipe it up as soon as you're getting it on there. But so I normally just do one side at a time, and then I'll wipe the front of it off just to make sure. And finally, we're going to add a ribbon. Now, of course, this isn't necessary. You can totally hang it on the wall with just the hanger that's built into it, but I just like to add even more extra specialness to it. So I'm going to add this bow on the top. So that's it. What do you guys think? This makes a wonderful gift because you can make it so personalized to match, whoever you're gifting it to make it exactly like their pet. And it's something that they will cherish forever. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this project. Please like and follow. I'll be adding more videos showing you different ways to use my designs, from paper crafts with a Cricut to punch needle to gallery glass and more.